Thanks for having me. Um, my name is AKua. I'm co-founder of Musical Instruments of Trinidad and Tobago Company Limited. My actual portfolio is Director of Sales and Business Development. Midco was founded in 2020 with a basic idea to start building out an ecosystem around the steel pan fraternity. The first pillar, which is manufacturing, started with testing the grounds in terms of all that's supposed to be done via getting the logistics in place, putting the artisans in place, having a space for us to be able to operate. All these things were tested over 9 months before we launched the business in 2022. Party directorship includes Mario Joseph, the Hallett brothers, John, Robert, and Joseph, and Mr. David Hackett. So we are in the business of steel pan manufacturing for both local and international export. We also see ourselves as a campus which will help create human resource supporting this industry in the future. We started exporting. Actually, the first export was a carry-on, if you mind me saying that. The very first instrument was purchased by Peter Cavendish, who's the ambassador of the European Union. And he took that steel pan to his daughter all the way in England. Beyond that, we actually exported our first set of instruments to Antigua, and that more or less is where we started to test the waters of the potential of getting the instrument moved from our factory to the actual customer door. To date, we have a lot of that happening. Beyond just Antigua, we have the Caribbean nations, we have the UK, we have USA, we have Germany. So there's a lot of potential and a lot of activity happening in those places, interest coming out of those places to date. Right. Actually, in 2020, we were still in prepping stage. So the COVID, ironically, actually gave us a little more time to understand what we were getting involved in. We were very much doing a lot of Zoom calls, setting up the infrastructure in terms of the business plan, the marketing plan, and all these other strategic things. However, in terms of financing, that started to pose a problem right out of the pandemic. And we eventually secured a loan from First Citizens Bank, and then Hallett Brothers and AKua came in as angel investors. So those were some of the initial things. And then as we started to unfold further, one of our main attributes to the instrument is the coatings. So we have powder coating, we have painting, but we also have chroming. And let's say 3/4 into setting up this company, the local chrome factory burnt down. So that was a big game changer. However, it brought a significant solution where we had to more or less check our spaces to see who coats and who chrome paint or chrome, who do chroming. And we found a place all the way in Iowa called AIH. So we actually ship our instruments or completed instruments to AIH to chrome and then bring them back into Trinidad to fine tune. So those were some of the challenges that we faced very early as we started setting up this business. One of the fortunate things I say Midco adopted was the power of collaboration. And we coming with our expertise in terms of steel pan manufacturing and understanding the culture. AKua coming in with their expertise in terms of logistics, and we were fortunate to have a general manager who came out of that fabric, Nicholas De Freitas, who had a lot of experience in terms of understanding the shipping space. So we did have a lot of consulting to do, a lot of moving around, delays, costs going up. But because of the experience of the team, we were able to get through those things quite easily. It didn't impact us, but as I said, we were able to, because of the experience of the team, we were able to more or less narrow that impact based on what they were able to bring forth. But steel pan on the whole has a lot of potential when it comes to the export market. And I'm a professional musician, I'm a lecturer, and I am a product of the product. And just to bring some type of understanding, while we perform in foreign markets and we see the interests and almost to the point where persons don't have an idea where this instrument came from. And now Midco coming in, and one of our main initiatives is panning schools around the world. So having that understanding of the power of steel pan as a beginner's instrument to introduce any student to music, we started a campaign panning schools, not just in Trinidad, not just in Caribbean, but in every school around the world. That has shown tremendous momentum. And right now, we see our tenor pan taking off. Right now, we can't catch up with having orders and instruments on the ground, but we are still building momentum on the ensemble concept. Just to give you what the ensemble is actually a series of instruments from tenor all the way to bass that gives you a complete orchestral sound. So, for example, Africa has 25,000 schools. Right now, Midco's capacity to manufacture is about 100 ensembles a year. So, to outfit Africa with pan schools will take Midco over 200 years. So that economy of scale is definitely there once something like this takes off. And you're talking about Africa, we're talking about the Caribbean, we're not talking about India, we're not talking about China, Chile. There's a lot of spaces that are untapped. South America for sure. They are now understanding the power of steel pan and what steel pan could do both for the community and for schools. So the potential of that market is vast, and that is what excites us. Sure. So the after sale support is definitely a point of, as a territory where we export as well. So we export tuning. So when the pan is used after a period of time, it needs to be retuned. So that's a potential. We export the curriculum, we export the personnel. So you talk about the skill sets. We also import persons, or think about it as having local educational tourism, because persons can come into us and we can train them up as well. So we are actually building out an ecosystem, the ecosystem where each one supports the other. So you're right to say that just the instrument is innate on its own, but beyond the instrument, there are a lot of things that complement it. We were able to correctly or easily build that out. So we have an online educational program. After every sale, that is a value add that goes with that sale. So that person is able to now have an instrument, be able to set up that pan in the comfort of their home, have these pre-recorded videos, take them through a series of scales and songs. So at the end of that process, they are certified by Midco, and they are now able to perform at every birthday party, just to say the least, with their loved ones. Yes, right now we have a very lean staff, to be honest. We have about 26 employees, with at least 8 of them being skilled artisans. We have a mixture of male and female, of course, but we also see this place as a campus. So beyond just the skilled artisans, to be able to support this industry, we need to go into training. So we see this as a campus where we want to include on-the-job training, OJT. We want to include internships. So persons coming out of University of Trinidad and Tobago and the West Indies, University of the West Indies, could come into us and do their internships. We're also talking about workshops, not just workshops for professionals, but even an introductory workshop to stimulate the youth in seeing steel pan manufacturing as a viable career. So job creation based on the vision of the full ecosystem. And I'm being a little advanced here. We're thinking about even eventually having 1,000+ employees alongside this total vision. Well, definitely, in terms of, as one of my directors say, AKua, we can't boil the ocean, but we are building out the ecosystem manufacturing first. Right now, we could scale this up to at least 40 employees, and then we're gonna check out on the marketing side. We're gonna include a Midco ensemble or Midco orchestra, where we'll have professional musicians joining us, yes, doing their own cultural performances and production, but also showing the power of steel pan that came out of Midco. That actual ensemble will travel to trade shows and do command performances in different parts of the world, and especially alongside our trade missions. So that could easily hire about 70 musicians. Beyond that, we're talking about a conservatory one institute. The conservatory is where we bring in professional teachers to start building out the points of having persons understand how to compose a steel pan, arrange for the steel pan, teach music, how to hold their sticks, how to perform, what are the business behind a performance, what is the business behind an ensemble, can you become a brand ambassador, all these other things. And then on the institute side, build out the artisans, as I said earlier. So from building out a tuner, building out a groover, building out a builder, all these things, we see a multiplier effect. Of course, as we open the markets, we will need more artisans to support those markets. So it's an endless unfolding of these things. So we say 3 to 5 years, yes, but it's almost forevermore. Everything is have export potential. Let's find an example. We perform in, let's say the ensemble goes to perform in Brazil. We strategically invite teachers, maybe government officials, persons from the communities, and musicians themselves. We put on a command performance. We let them see the potential of this instrument. And then when they're excited, they want to start this program. We then point them to the manufacturing company. Okay, you needed to get instruments. Okay, you got the instruments. Now we have the instruments. We need skills. We don't have any skills. Okay, we could send our tutors to you, or you could send your tutors to us to get trained up. And that ecosystem symbiotically starts to unfold and build momentum towards manufacturing, build towards curriculum, human resource in terms of teaching, human resource in terms of building. We train their persons, they come in and they're trained by us. So there's a marriage between each aspect of the ecosystem unfolding into this bigger energy that could be duplicated over and over and over via export markets. Just to give you how this happened, I can't not include God. And I'm a product of the product, as I said at the start. And just having a burning desire to see eventually art and culture becoming a viable career path. And this testing of bringing art and culture alongside business, you could see that collaboration, the potential of it working. So I said one of the main things that I had in 2018 when I started mapping this idea in my head, I had the full belief that it could be done. Full belief that with faith, all things are possible. And be focused, have a level of passion, desire for success, and stick with it, stay with it until it is realized, because it will surely come. Advice from new exporters will be ready to research the best way to ship your products and find the ideal shipping firm, to shipping provider to take your products forward. Check out barriers to entry and understand where you can benefit from exemptions and what trade agreements are in effect. That for sure are things that we did in terms of our research, which we now have as part of our cadre while experience. We also see that it's critical to have money for research, development, and for scholarships. There are a lot of youth who want to go and do certain studies towards the development of steel pan on the whole in Trinidad and Tobago, and we should be able to support that. And then on the other end, that will build out a certain level of attraction from the world. We think some sort of festival. Panorama is a competition and is doing a fine job at that, but we need something that balances off creativity from competition. And then we can now invite other steel pan ensembles from around the world to Mecca, to Trinidad, to experience an authentic steel pan performance on our island. And then the final thing is to have a rehearsal space where, just as everybody traveled to Mecca, in the actual Mecca, to do that rites in terms of the Muslim faith, everybody should be traveling to Trinidad and Tobago to play at that venue, just as we have Carnegie Hall and Royal Albert Hall and all these different performing spaces. We should have the ultimate steel pan performing experience in Trinidad and Tobago as well. So from a business perspective, I just want to encourage persons, if you have a goal and you have a burning desire to see that go through, stick through it, believe in it. You have to believe in it first before anybody else believes in you. The power and the world of today is through collaboration. So collaborate to compete, collaborate to build out new markets, new products, new services, and see ourselves as one force, one island, one dot that is now projecting things to the world. And we could do it as a team, as we have seen many others have done before. So believe in yourself, believe in the product, see the end, and have that in mind as you work towards getting there through all your efforts and energies. Thank you.